everybody, and welcome back to Read, Watch, Play, the show where we talk about what we read in comics, what we watched on screen, and what we played on the table. I'm your host, Tony Cox. With me, as always, is
Clifford Parmenter.
And thank you for watching. We've got a decent show tonight. We've got some comics, and we're going to play a game.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
And you don't even know what the game is.
I don't care. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, cool.
I hope there's dragons or dice or dragons and dice or cards and dice and dragons.
There's. I got some bad news.
Or superheroes.
I got some bad news.
Oh, there's no superheroes or dragons.
There's no superheroes or dragons.
Okay, are there action adventure elements?
Maybe. I will give you a hint. The game is actually on the table right now, but it's on this table physically. The
Is
box.
it hiding under this mat?
Nope. The box for this game is sitting on the table. That's what's so special about it. But you can't even see it, can you? Because it's so small.
I'm really upset.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's under your phone.
No, it's not under my phone.
Oh, it's that little tiny thing in the corner, the little Japanese thing.
That's one. That's
okay.
One. There's actually 4 games back there.
I'll take it.
And we're gonna play one. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But
I like the little whatever the Japanese one. It's actually
it's actually in it. It's Taj.
I just realized that I'm really angry.
It's
Taj Mahal and
it's sideways. It looks
it's sideways. So I thought it was like a cutesy little like Pacific Rim style game because I was looking at it wrong, and then I realized
we'll tease this here a little bit. So this is a series of games that fit in a box the size of a gum pack.
Okay.
So here are a few games that we have, and we're gonna play Jim, and if we have time, we'll also play Fly.
Are they fast games?
They're pretty fast.
Okay,
yeah.
then we might we can play a couple.
And so we'll play Jim and we'll play Jim definitely, and Fly if we have time, because they're the only 2 out of those ones. I know how to play Spy too, but that one's a boring deduction game. I mean, it's not boring, but it's a deduction game. All right, so let's jump right into comics. Oh, you know what? I read comics too.
You did?
I got to put that up there before we get started. So,
is Waldir joining us?
I don't know.
Oh, well, hi. I know his real name, but I don't know if he wants to talk about the real name. So, just hi. Thanks for joining for 5 seconds.
All right, so let's talk comics. Let's start with you. Do you want to start with...
I'm going to talk very quickly about this. I didn't even know about this, and I'm furious. I'm always furious when I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? So it's called Puerto Rico Strong, and pretty much everything on the screen is literally it. It is a comic anthology supporting Puerto Rico disaster relief and recovery. All the proceeds are going to that. Mm-hmm. So, just pick it up because... it's pretty good. I mean, I don't have strong selling points for it. I mean, I enjoyed it. Like, I enjoy any anthology. But it was good, and it was a great cast. So, great cast. It was a great series of writers and artists telling very good stories.
Awesome.
And, of course, and it's funny. I expected the stories to kind of be... Puerto Rico centric.
I was going to ask what the stories were primarily about.
It was about all people, but the common. It brought it back to a kind of a common bond, and most of the stories did anyway. And so I really liked it. I didn't get to read the whole thing, but especially because I was like, "What is this? Why didn't I know?" So
did this just release this week?
Yes.
Okay. Very cool.
So it's very cool. I highly recommend it.
Who publishes this? Who published this?
It was independent. It was just like what is this and how come no one told me? It was just
Well, it's interesting because there's been several of these types of comics where creators see an injustice or a need to draw attention to something or to help fund or to help fundraise for a need, and they'll get a bunch of other creators together and they'll create these little anthology comics and then sell them. I mean, we've seen this is not the first one. Love is Love. Yep.
It's funny because I've told people who I very much who've worked on that it was problematic because I know people who wished to have contributed to it.
Yeah.
And there were people on the publishing end that were picking and choosing, and that actually resurfaced in a panel on Love is Love at a convention a few months ago, and it was just so it's funny even when you're trying to do the right thing. And I'm in 2 worlds. I'm in a world of we have to stop jumping and being so sensitive. Like I see that element that's happening. And I'm not saying there's not stuff to be sensitive about, because I am. I mean, I'm on it, and there's a lot to be sensitive about. I do think sometimes people are just tearing it apart. And then, of course, on the other hand, if you are aware something's going on, you know what? It's a tough topic. I'm sorry I brought it up.
No, it's okay.
I like this. I want you to support it. Just like I still supported Love is Love, because I knew that the proceeds from that book were going to help the families of the victims. Yeah. So same thing here, and every little bit counts.
Yeah, it does. So next up is Action Comics 999. We're getting close to
what
that.
What a beautiful cover!
Covers. This is amazing. This is very nice.
Yeah, boy, did it set a tone too.
Really?
So this issue, last issue in Action Comics with the Zod thing, Booster violated the whole time travel code and went back 10 seconds to make sure that Jonathan lived through the guerrilla gunfire. Yeah. It was Lois and Sam Lane who didn't. So Booster went back 10 seconds to make sure they lived and got to their helicopter, so that Superman would arrive and be happy. He's wearing a 1,000
wearing
hat.
a 1,000 hat.
Yeah. So this issue is about Granddad, General Sam Lane, coming to dinner. And mostly him and Lois hashing it out, while Superman is away, right? And he's trying to think of a way to imprison his most powerful enemies without using the Phantom Zone, because it is such a cruel punishment. And it's something he does not want to repeat that his father Jor-El did. Because Jor-El put people in the Phantom Zone and they went crazy, right? And it's Cyborg Superman. We're getting to it. Remember Cyborg Superman was in prison there when he fought the Revenge Squad how many issues ago?
Oh, right.
Right, because remember Zod and his wife and kid disappeared at the end of that? Bendis is coming.
Yeah. Can we get our all new table cam there?
Look at that.
Bendis is coming.
Is coming.
I was gonna say, because he's a writer on the 1000.
Yes, he is.
On number 1000.
And then he's gonna be writing 2 Superman titles.
Wow.
Heaven help us all.
This is my surprise.
Yes. So Superman releases Henshaw from the Phantom Zone because Hank's mind is already so damaged. Imagine what that environment is doing to him. Mm-hmm. So he releases him to give him a different kind of prison, one he hopes he won't want to leave. So he makes a room with that crystalline stuff that he discovered in space that even he would have difficulty getting out of. Mm-hmm. And he imprisons the Cyborg Superman in there, and he's like, listen, you killed so many people. That's it. You deserve a life sentence. He goes, but maybe I can offer you some rehabilitation. Maybe I can offer you something. Right? And he's like, and I don't think you'll want to escape. So he gives him one of those Kryptonian memory crystals, which draws on your memories and recreates everything for you. Mm-hmm. So he can recreate his happiest times with his wife and best friends before they had their Fantastic Four-style accident that killed them all and made him into Cyborg Superman. And and because he's reliving some of his happiest moments, he agrees with Superman's conditions and stays a prisoner in the fortress in this manner. And so this whole issue. So in the meantime, Sam Lane is in the Kent apartment, ranting and raving about how Superman is a potential threat and a potential menace, and that
he doesn't know. He doesn't know about Clark and Jonathan.
No. Okay. And the thing is, it's that's something that the family has. So in these issues, it's something the family's been discussing and thinking about, right? Mm-hmm. So Clark finally comes back after he's made his peace with Cyborg Superman, a little bit of peace anyway. And Sam Lane sees him in the hallway, and he just straight up blocks the hallway, right, as Clark Kent. And he's like, "No, Sam." He's like, "I have done something very wrong." And he goes, "And I've given you space for you and Lois to work this out, but you're both, very hard-headed and very, just bigger than life people." And he's like, "And I won't do that." He goes, "You have a grandson now. And I am going to step in, and I'm going to try and mend some fences here. And let's get back in that apartment." So they go back to the apartment, and he's like, Lois, let me introduce your father, General Sam Lane, who has served this country in duty, etc. He's like, Sam Lane, let me introduce your daughter, Lois Lane, accomplished Pulitzer Prize winning reporter. You know? And he's like, and let me introduce your grandson, Jonathan Kent. Jonathan Sam Kent. Who will probably be greater than us all, right? And it was just a beautiful, beautiful moment of like, you're amazing people, right? And the conflict on the and Sam Lane is all about our conflict is Superman, and he's like, all this conflict is like is keeping us from being a family. And they sat down to dinner together, and I was like, this was like. I loved it. I thought it was a really good moment. I thought it was a strong reflection. And you know, it's funny because lately I've been trying to kind of avoid spoilers and be a little more vague and go quickly. But this was really such a great issue. I mean, this. You know how we talked about things where when is Superman exemplified? Yeah. And this is it. Yeah. Okay, finding a way.
He's not even Superman. He's Clark, and he's
but as Superman, he was finding a different way to imprison the cyborg Superman. Right? Yeah. And also thinking, because I know what he's thinking. He just came from a future where Zod took over that planet, right? He may want to imprison Zod and his family somewhere that's humane. Yeah. And then so Cyborg Superman is his first test of that. Yeah. I with Bendis coming out to write 2 Superman books, I'm absolutely terrified. Because this is really great stuff, and I am very much afraid that for something fresh and hip and exciting. And maybe I'm wrong about using those words, but you know what I'm talking about. We're going to go in a very different direction. And here's a lot of quality stuff. And, you know, Dan Jurgens is one of the few, like, writers, artists on Superman who was was working on Superman in my childhood and works on him now. Yeah. And I love what he offers now as much, if not more, than when he offered it in my childhood. Like, it is just... It blows, I can't say that about a lot of other writers. Yeah. Some of them, like as they've gotten older, with all due respect, it's not the same. Yeah, I
mean, he was writing on the Superman death and the Reign of the Superman. I mean, and that's when I was into Superman and was collecting Superman.
And you can still draw Superman. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So do you feel like this has put a little bit of a button on? So my first question is Brian Michael Bendis writing Action Comics?
I think it's Action and Man of Steel, I believe.
Okay, so this is really the final all Dan Jurgens issue.
Yeah, I mean, it really is.
Do you feel like this sort of puts a button on the journey he's telling, or
a bit? Okay. You know, although I mean, man, the Zod thing is out there. I mean, the Green Lanterns are still fighting him, and I love it. And we'll get to that shortly. But I'm really impressed with this issue.
Cool. Very nice. So next up, let's talk about it. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps number 40 kneel before Zod's.
Yes. So, against the Guardians' wishes, because they wanted to deliberate, the Corps has gone off to rescue Hal, and John Stewart was just too late to catch up with them. It's like, so Guardians, you have to accept their fate. In the meantime, I'm like, Guardians, you know how dangerous this is. You should think about it. I'm like, Ganthet, you almost died fighting Superboy Prime. I'm like, all of y'all shouldn't even hesitate. You should be like, you know what? We should go contain those Kryptonians. Those known super criminal Kryptonians, and do something about that. Yeah. But anyhow, the Green Lantern Corps just keeps getting their butt whooped, and but it's all part of Kyle's plan, because all Kyle wanted to do is get there so that Hal could get his ring back, and then they did like a really cool like super powered combo thing, and Zod's like, that barely messed my hair up. Like, what are you even doing?
It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they brought Space Ape with them, a Green Lantern Space Ape.
Wow.
Beautiful art as always.
Do you feel like this is going to tie into Action Comics 1000?
I hope so.
Yeah.
In fact, if we're going to talk about a button, I hope they put a button on the Zod story, because this is great and I absolutely love this. But like, Superman has been to the future and is aware that Zod has been to that planet and took over that planet.
Yeah.
Right, so in the future, they rule cruelly over that planet.
Oh, yeah.
So that's in Superman's mindset. So something has to be done.
Wow. So Woo Boo scale?
Oh, it's Woo. I've got a lot of Woo action this week.
Great,
A lot of
great.
Woo.
Let's move on over to Mr. Miracle number 7 of the 12 issue
I put
series.
the Female Furies cover up.
Very cool.
Because do you know what this actually represents? The cover?
No.
They're in the waiting room while Barda is giving birth.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, that's right, because she said she was pregnant.
Yes.
Right?
And guess who's High Father now?
Orion?
No, Mr. Miracle, because Orion's dead last issue.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, what's her name over here in the green with the neck piece behind me?
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I can't remember this. I can't remember their names. This is really bothering. And I can remember Stampa and Lashina, right? And Crazy Harry. I just can't remember the fourth one. So the fourth one is
Let's see her name.
yeah, they don't show her name. She gives him a dagger that could cut people open, right? And then and she's like, and I will use this on you in battle. To him, she was like, one day I will kill you with it, right? And he's like, yeah, thanks. And he goes in the room, and they keep throwing around baby names over and over and over, and it's really weird. So anyhow, the baby comes out. He's not making any noise. The umbilical cord is wrapped around him.
Oh, boy.
So he uses the dagger to cut it, and then the baby starts crying. But it as usual for this series, it's dark and weird. Their conversation on the inside. The two of them talk about Granny sticking their head in the lava falls as a kid and saying, "Keep your mouth open. Soon you'll grow to love the burn," and you never grow to love the burn. Or how he used to continually escape, and Bart is the one who used to catch him, until she escaped with him. And then at the end, he starts getting all that. He always has like this like static visual of the situation.
Yeah,
well, of course, it gets really weird and crazy when he starts looking at his baby, and she's like, "Oh, look at him! Like the first birth of Apocalypse and Orion, blah blah blah, right?" And he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "But he looks like a lump to me." And then it starts getting really weird, and the word lump is like a lump, and then crazy.
Wow.
And then the baby cries.
Wow.
So yeah, this is it's a special book, and I mean that in a good way. Like, but it's deeper. Hey Patrick, it is. Hey Martin, Martin made it to top 8 at WKO this weekend.
Awesome.
For HeroClix.
Martin, you coming down to the ROC Regional in Poughkeepsie on the 31st? Are you coming to that? You're probably not.
One never knows.
One never knows.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm probably not coming to that. I actually want to go this weekend, but like nothing was working out for me because I do like to just to see the guys. Yeah. And it was sealed.
It was down in New York, right?
No, it was in Highlander in Jersey.
Oh,
so it wasn't even that
far. The week
far.
Before was in New York. Yeah.
It wasn't that far, but my car had already started acting weird. And then forget it. Just got super bad.
So still a woo with this series? Because you've been over the moon.
Oh, I'm still over the moon. This is one of your... No, let me tell you. This is going to be... This is going to be like Watchmen level for me. Yeah. Like, this is the book that this is the book that like is getting critical praise, but I don't feel enough people are paying attention to.
Yeah.
The fact that last week issue number 5 came out in second print should be letting everyone know this is, if you're not reading this book, you should be reading this book. It's gonna be one of those books. It's gonna be some Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen, Last Laugh, high level top 10 book that I'm sure DC never even had an idea. Look at it. Look, what they have to say about it. Heartbreaking, funny, and humane. It's all an all-time classic in the making by Wired. And I agree. They're absolutely right. It's really crazy.
I think when this comes out in the trade paperback, I'm probably going to pick it up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so next up is Supergirl, number 19.
Isn't she cute?
Another gorgeous cover.
Yes, and I chose the fancy, gorgeous cover. And so pretty much, this is where we...
I'm not a huge fan of that particular costume, but it's still a gorgeous cover.
Yes. So I know Supergirl is not going to be published much longer, but and I don't know if this is Steve Orlando's last issue in the book or not. I do know, for whatever reason, and beautiful artwork, by the way. I do know, for whatever reason, this issue of Supergirl an extra 5,000 copies were ordered.
Really?
Yeah, because Steve Orlando tweeted about it and thanked everybody for the support on behalf of the whole staff of the issue.
Yeah.
Like it's totally different art than what we've seen in the book so far.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And it's very nice. Ayala.
It's really great, actually.
Yeah. So I'm very pleased with the issue.
Let's get let's get the table cam for this. Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah. I'm not gonna ruin this issue. I'm just gonna say it's definitely a woo. And I don't know. I hope it's a good. I want it to be like a good jumping on point. But knowing, that this series is going to close up soon makes me wonder. So look forward to the trade, but at the same time, buy the book to kind of support it because I'm super excited. But yeah, and of course I love the variants. Last issue 18's cover was like early 80s Supergirl with the blouse.
Yeah.
And then this is Superman the Animated Series Supergirl on the cover.
Yeah.
So I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot.
All right, next up is
Seas of Change.
New Superman and the Justice League of China.
Yes.
Introducing the new Aquaman of North Korea.
Yes. So remember last issue where we just suspected this guy is going to be, Aquaman?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be Aquaman.
Just Aquaman.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny because like at first he's like all nervous, like he doesn't understand what his whole like I sweat
right.
and
he's on the giant crab.
Yes.
And, yeah.
And he doesn't understand his ability, and then like the more he like exerts himself, the more he prominently is becoming Aquaman.
Wow. That's awesome.
And yeah, and then the North Korean military comes after him. It's really, it's awkward. I gotta say, I love their Flash. She's so great.
It's great that she's making appearances in other comics too, because she was in the Flash. She was in the Flash comic.
Yeah, well, she was birthed in Godspeed. That's what's so cool.
Oh yeah. Very cool. So a woo on this?
It's a woo. Like I'm interested, and it's really funny. New Superman is trying to like still do the whole chi balance thing, and I Ching is still in his mind messing with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've reached the extra special part of the end.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, where there's a supernatural element to the new Aquaman.
Ooh. Excuse me. All right, so let me talk about a comic.
Oh, I know what you're going to talk about.
Yeah. So I finally got caught up with Betty Page. And I believe this is the final issue of this arc, and possibly for a while. I believe this was the end. So I had read up to issue 5, and if you go back or if you were watching the show, I was like, it wasn't really hitting on all cylinders.
It was the most hit and miss of all things.
And
I
kept wanting to put it down and not pick up the next issue. In fact, I didn't even order issue 6 at all. But then I decided I got to the end of issue 5, and I was like, all right, now she's been asked to be somebody has asked her to be a secret agent. Okay, so I just read issues 6, 7, and 8, and so in issue 6 she's trained as a secret agent, like full on, like she's with the other guys and training. And then at the end of her training, she's like, all right, go home, go back to being a model, and we'll call you if we need you. And then, sure enough, she gets called for an assignment, and she goes off. And then we get into what I wanted this book to be the whole time, was basically like an Agent Carter. And that's what it, like, boom, becomes.
It metamorphosized into.
And I'm like, all right. So then issue 7 comes along, and I'm like, oh, man, this is great. Issue 7 is amazing.
Issue 7 made everything that came before it, like, come together.
It was like, okay, but what was great is that there was still stuff that happened in those first 5 issues that are playing out, because now she's the head of her boss now, which was the guy who picked her up after she dumped the UFO in the lake. is like, he's like, all right, we have to go to Cannes to
Cannes Film Festival.
Cannes Film Festival
I love
to
it.
find this guy, this nuclear scientist who has this device that we need to get from him. And so we're gonna pose. We're bringing the Queen of the Space Commies movie to Cannes. You're gonna be yourself, the star of the show. And then what's great is what I hoped was happening is the woman police officer that she meets, the African American woman police officer, becomes she also is a secret agent, but she because she was a police officer before, she's like a more like regular field agent. So she poses as her best friend, and then her boss poses as the director, right? So, and keep in mind that the movie was written by the evil cult leader, right? That kidnapped her and all this stuff, and
hoping to lure him out, I imagine.
We don't know where he is, but we're going to get this thing, right? So this like
I know there's something we got to talk about after this, watch wise.
So then we go. So they go to Cannes, and this whole issue 7 is amazing. And then they go and they're at a party and they spot the guy. So the boss goes over to talk to him, and then the next thing you hear is a scream, and they go over and the guy's dead and their boss has disappeared. And so then it's up to them to figure out like how to get him back and stuff. And then she goes into the screening for her movie, and then the writer shows up, the cult leader writer shows up, and I won't spoil anything to the end. It gets a little weird in the end of issue 8, like.
But you were still very happy with.
But
7
it was
and
just
8.
I just wished that had been like more
the
of
opening.
the series. Like I wish like issue 1 was a setup, and then at the end of issue 1 it was like
a segue into issue 6.
Yeah, it was like, oh, you want to be a secret agent? Come with me, and then she's a secret agent, and then it's all like missions from then on. I will say that from start to finish, these 8 issues do feel like a complete story.
Does it feel better as 1 through 8?
A little bit. I still am not crazy about like the plot points. I feel like it was 1 issue too long. Mm-hmm. I feel like they could have taken out some of that stuff in the earlier issue. There was 1 issue that just I felt like was really bad, like just the way that it navigates from start to finish. And I just felt like it was a bunch of excess stuff. And in the end, I don't remember anything from that issue pertaining to anything later on in the series. So, but other than that, it was a fun read. It's a fun, quirky little thing. It's not like spectacular. I did finally get what I wanted in the like Agent Carter style of,
So you recommend the trade?
Woman in a dress. I would, if you're at all interested, if you want something that's in the style of Agent Carter, I would definitely pick this up because it feels like that a lot of the way through, and it's fun. It's fun to see, strong, beautiful women portrayed in comics, and for it to feel like it's like they're not like a purposeful story, and it's not something that's just
not just like not a page was objective,
not a Xenoscope story. Yeah, so.
And even some of those are a little bit empowering while being...
Yeah. And this definitely was a little bit more... It's funny because the covers certainly don't seem like that.
No, but I mean...
that's the story itself.
That's that I like is the juxtaposition. Yeah. It's like, what did they call them? What kind of cake? What did they call the models back then? The men were beefcake models, but the women were...
I have no idea.
Cheesecake.
Oh, cheesecake.
Cheesecake, that's it. Cheesecake.
So,
like, yes, it's like, here's the cheesecake cover, and then, haha.
Yeah. So it's pretty decent. It's a soft woo for the trade, It's a fun read, so I can recommend
Fun's important, too.
Yeah. All right, so let's hop into Marvel.
Yes.
So we have X-Men Blue, the last X-Men standing.
I just want to apologize for being that guy. Poison X, I just like have so not the interest in Venom. Mm-hmm. So like my heart was not in reading those issues, and then it tied into a Venom comic, and I'm like, I don't want anything to do with this. Yeah. And then this is the new X-Men Blue team showing up, right? Mm-hmm. And so this issue worked for me because the new X-Men Blue team is the 2 remaining abandoned members who did not travel through time, right? Which is what is it? Logan's son from Ultimate Universe and Vampire Storm from her world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they meet up with Polaris, and they're like, we kind of like probably should go and figure out what happened to these guys, and they form a whole new blue team, which I think is cool.
Interesting.
And I don't like it's good. I like that. Well, Havoc is there and Polaris there, which
Yep.
I always kind of like them as a couple. So like that's fun for me. I like Polaris in investing in all that power. Also, for the longest time, Sebastian Shaw. By the way, Sebastian Shaw is in this, and for the longest time, he didn't know who he was. His mind was wiped, and he is like one of the most powerful mutants ever because you just keep hitting him, and he just keeps becoming more powerful, and it's terrifying. So he's there, and stuff is happening. I'm not sure which side he thinks he's on, but it's happening. But it was a good issue. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of clashing personalities. But this will be like a fun team. I wish it focused a little more on like, oh, we should find out what happened to them. But it was kind of like, oh, we should find out what happened to them. But we need a blue team, and stuff is going down. So maybe we should talk about that. I want the kids back. Yeah, I really like them. But this is good. I approved. I woo it. My love of Polaris kind of like helped that a little bit. I don't know. I hope this isn't permanent. And if it is permanent, then what do we do with the X kids?
Oh yeah.
I keep calling them the X kids because I don't know what else to call them. Especially now that
Blue Junior
traditional Gene is back.
Yeah.
But anyhow, it's good. It's a solid woo.
Cool. All right, and last on our spotlight is going to be Iceman number 11.
You know this is a big woo for me.
This
is supposed to be the final issue. Okay.
Oh, this is the final issue.
It's supposed.
I was going to ask you when it was.
I was ready to cry. I don't even know. I was just so emotional. So, Iceman's father calls him.
Oh right.
Because one. You don't know that. This is new.
Oh, didn't he call him in the?
No, this is a brand new call.
Oh,
This is a brand new call.
Brand new call.
Oh, no, he called him at the end of the last issue.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, he called.
The reason he called is because there's a gentleman, there's a neighbor that he's worried about, and of course he is a mutant. So he goes to investigate with one of the mutants from the school, and also but at the end of the last issue, I believe Kitty offered him whatever he wanted, right? Like to lead whatever team. In the meantime, he's flashing back to being a kid.
This is great artwork.
Yeah, that's the flashback artwork. He's flashing back to being a kid and how difficult that is for him. And, basically Catholic school and stuff, right? And just the discomfort. But anyhow, this is the guy. And in the present, he's dealing with this guy who has shut himself off from the world because he's some sort of mutant, and he's so afraid of how he's going to be seen and portrayed. And it's funny because this is what Iceman is going through as a child and as a young adult in all of his flashbacks. Like, here's 90s Iceman action. Wow. And anyhow, it was really good. I loved it. There's different artwork throughout the whole book, but the main artwork I'm happy with for the main story. And it you know what? I don't want to ruin it. It was just, I feel like this book has really been on the right path, and I'm really sad that this series is ending, and I feel like it's a series that every one of those people who's purchasing it deserves.
Yeah.
But I like how it ended, and it ends on a very strong. Look at the pages and pages of letter column, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And look at the answers. Like, I hope you're satisfied with the journey, and thanks for writing in. Like, I'm so like heartbroken. Yeah. I love it. It's a great series. If you're with me, where I was ranting and raving about it not being enough in the beginning, and then totally falling in love with it and thinking it was amazing, you should get it. If not, please be supportive and go buy the trades. And what can I tell you? It's really good. I have loved the journey. I want more. Yeah. I don't know what we got to do in life to have more, but I've loved it.
Awesome. And you've got a couple. I've got
4 shout outs because you all know what I'm reading.
You want to throw up the table cam at him while he?
There we go. Justice League of America number 26. They're still fighting Lord Havoc. Love it. Marvel 2-in-1 number 4. You know, the search continues for the Fantastic Four. Flash number 42. Now, with Wally running around as the Flash, we start to get a little more, we start getting back into Barry's head and what he's thinking. Especially because he's hanging out with Godspeed.
Ooh.
Remember that was the cliffhanger last issue. Yeah. And of course, Wonder Woman, because it's the book everyone should be reading, but isn't reading, and like Darkseid stuff is happening in this book. Go read this.
It's awesome.
So my approval rating is good for all of them.
All right, thank you, Adam. Very cool. So let's move on quickly to
Hi, Tora.
Oh, hi, Tora. And Adam, if you're watching too. So let's move on to what did we watch. You wanted to mention something real quick?
Oh my God, Jean-Claude Van Johnson. Did you watch it?
I watched it when it first released.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
all 6 episodes.
Okay, so I finally watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
And oh my God,
It's
I'm
amazing,
devastated that that's not being renewed.
I know. It's so good.
Watch it and write to Amazon and demand
it's-
season 2. And Felicia Rashad. Felicia Rashad.
Like just all
of it.
It was amazing. It was so good. The episode where the what's the doppelganger's name? I forget what his name is.
I don't know. It's
Philippe.
It's Philippe. It's
Philippe. When his future self comes back and he's like, and then Philippe picks up. I know he's just so he's like, what if you really? Oh yeah, I can't even. I haven't watched it in a while, but
yeah, I can't do it. Yeah, you're doing it better. You're doing it better.
It's to see Jean-Claude Van Damme do that voice and like pretend to be this like.
Roy,
this
he
stuff.
is the greatest actor I've ever known. Why would he want to hurt me? Like it was so good.
But why would he want to hurt me?
And Time Cop is my favorite movie, and then he hurts my feelings and tells me it's not that good.
It was
like I don't know what that was about, but it was great.
Oh man, but like the one where
Adam is on.
The one where
and Sean.
the one where the time travel guy shows up,
yes.
and then and you think it's him, and then he gets killed, and then Philippe picks up the time thing and disappears, and he goes, "Oh, so that was Philippe." Okay,
yeah,
like just the whole it's such an homage to those 80s and 90s action films, like it just and so well done. The satire, and just like some real emotional moments too. Like it was really well done.
By the way, for a scene that was a complete mess.
Oh yeah,
right. Like the fact that like he says your greatest regret is the hole in your heart that you have never found a way to fill, and then like his assistant co-operative girlfriend there is like, but what he said, like, is that true? Yeah. And he's like, well, maybe we have to find out. Like, it was just like so funny. Like, it was like probably.
And then I don't want to spoil the ending, but then the end when he talks to his younger self.
What did we watch is kerfuffled.
What did we watch and what did we read at the same time?
Yes.
Watch and read. The ending was just so like emotional and heartfelt and like.
And then time travel. And I was like, that's what kind of cliffhanger. Like I want to see that. I want to see Jean-Claude Van Damme time travel.
It was so good. I'm so disappointed that it was not more well received.
It's not Saturday, Sean. It's Sunday. I'm gonna be there. Sunday is the show. Saturday is St. Patrick's Day. So I'm sure it's very important to a lot of people.
Saturday, I will actually be at KGS Poughkeepsie running a King of New York tournament. Are you coming?
I will be busy celebrating St. Patrick's with Brian. Because I was invited to dinner at Nana's, and I'm super excited.
What time?
6. And then before that, we're going to see Love, Simon, which we have to see. It's that new Greg Berlanti film, okay?
Oh, Greg Berlanti?
Oh, yeah, he's directing it.
Oh, really?
He pushed that project, man. He pushed that project. And Glisten was a contributor to the film. Like, they wrote a whole bunch of things on, like, the lessons you could teach your high school students from this movie.
Wow.
And I'm so for it. I'm super excited. Like, Glisten, like, sent emails out. We're like, you gotta go watch this movie.
Yeah, that's amazing. I wonder if this movie does well, if Warner Brothers picks him up to direct something, because I think I would love. I know that he was working on a Booster Gold script.
Yeah,
and I would love to see a Booster Gold movie from him. Like, I just think that would be amazing.
I feel bad because his name was attached to not successful Green Lantern film. And and I feel like I feel
he's more than redeemed himself with the Arrow universe.
Right, exactly. Well, I know it's so weird because it's like those things where people really enjoyed X and then not, and then it's like it's a constant. It's about like right now I'm loving Flash mostly season 4.
Yeah,
but I have friends who make arguments for why they don't like it that I can't argue with. Yeah. And then Supergirl, I am all in for Supergirl, but I have people who tell me that like they couldn't even remember last episode. They practically slept through it. The one that's kicking butt, but not enough people are giving enough of a chance is Legends of Tomorrow. That's the one that's like quietly sitting back, like we're having all the fun, and you guys suck.
They are just like boom,
and
like,
bringing Kid Flash on board.
I was so mad. I went to watch this past week's episode, and I couldn't the stream working. So I was disappointed in that. I'll probably try to watch it tonight.
You know what else I rewatched recently before I realized Jessica Jones is available, and then I didn't watch Jessica Jones, and but I rewatched the last 3 episodes of Discovery.
Oh, Star Trek Discovery?
It was just like
I'm gonna do a binge watch. I think.
I just because like I raced through them because we were gonna talk about them, and like I felt like I didn't sit to enjoy it. God, did I enjoy it when I just paid attention. I'm sorry for anyone who doesn't think that this is amazing Trek. Yeah, it really is, and so many things worked, and I didn't tell you this sooner, but I found the actor playing Spock's father. Like I found him jarring because he's just every other iteration we've seen of Spock's dad, including
Star Trek 2009.
No, I'm talking about the original series.
Oh, Mark
right?
Leonard, yeah.
Like he just does not look like him to me, but like giving him the rehash try, the mannerisms and everything, I
think James Frain, who plays Sarek on Discovery, looks more like Mark Leonard from the original series than the actor Ben. Is it Ben Cross from Star Trek 2009?
Yeah. But I got the sell of the 2009 Sarek faster. You know what I mean? Like he sold his iteration to me.
Yeah,
faster.
I'll be honest with you. I kind of felt the same way at the beginning, but I just said I quickly had to let go of all that stuff.
No, but that's the thing. Rewatching just the last 3 episodes allowed me to breathe and let go. And it's funny because like what we're talking about, I never even got to tell you prior to this or our audience that I had found him jarring, and now just rewatching and just being at ease on the rewatch, I was like, oh, like this is fine. I'm too wrapped up in my head and my thoughts on Star Trek. Yeah, you know, and it's okay. And I like the mom too. I like.
I love her. I loved her from. She was on the TV show Defiance.
Yes,
on Sci-Fi.
On Sci-Fi. Yeah.
My wife and I both really liked her on that show, and I love her. I think she looks an awful lot like the original actress who played Amanda Grayson on the original series. I am in the middle of a rewatch of the MCU.
Oh, Sean said, looks like Saturday I'll be dragging the unwashed masses to the city. Wow, that's up to you, Sean. Also, he said he picked up the American Gods trade.
Yep.
And Legends is great. It's the only one in the WB that doesn't depress me. Yeah. That's rough. That's rough.
I think I'm a little behind on Arrow, as a matter of fact. Now that it moved to Thursdays, it's harder for me to watch it on time.
But suddenly, Legends is way more accessible.
Oh, it really is.
But Legends gives me the feel goods too.
So I'm in the middle of doing a rewatch of the MCU movies for our big top 10 that we're going to do before Infinity War. And also just because I wanted to...
Can I just mention Black Panther hitting over 1 billion worldwide?
Oh, yeah.
And 3 weeks?
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Super amazing.
And I'm watching them in universe chronology.
I'm wearing the shirt I purchased for that evening.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My polo shirt with all these beautiful florets. I'm very happy.
Can I continue, or do you want to interrupt me a third time?
This is like the most expensive polo shirt I've ever owned, and I love it.
Welcome to Cliff and Tony review polos.
I love you. Go ahead.
Anyway, I'm rewatching the MCU movies in universe chronology order, including the one-shot short films. And so the only real difference from release order to chronology order is that you start with Captain America first. You watch Iron Man 2, because
What about the Hulk?
Well, the rule that I'm going by is whatever time frame the majority of the movie takes place in. That's where you place it in the order. A majority of the Hulk takes place after Iron Man 2.
Oh. Well, which movie does the Hulk attacking appear in one of the televisions?
At the end of Iron Man 2.
The end of Iron Man.
It's when Fury gives him his report and about the Avengers Initiative, where he says Iron Man yes, Tony Stark no.
Right.
Behind him, there's I think it's that one, or it's early. It's at some point in Iron Man 2, because Iron Man 2, the Incredible Hulk, and Thor all take place at the same time, like literally on the same days.
Time frame, yeah. Well,
on the same days.
Yeah. Well, we know for sure we're Hulk. For Thor, because the hammer is there.
Because Coulson leaves in the middle of Iron Man 2 to go to New Mexico. So you watch Captain America, the First Avenger. You watch Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, Thor, and then Avengers. And what's really great about that is that you watch Thor. You are introduced to Loki. Loki basically, that's his villain origin movie, basically, and then he's the villain in Avengers. So it works out perfectly.
And also our most developed villain in the Marvel universe.
And in fact, the post-credit scene at the end of Thor is the one where Fury brings Selvig down to the Tesseract, and then you see Loki saying, "Oh, well, that's worth a look." And then the very next thing you watch is Loki arrives on Earth, and then the Avengers. Then after that, you watch Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, and then The Winter Soldier. Okay? Then you watch Guardians of the Galaxy. So we're still sort of in release order there. But after Guardians of the Galaxy, you then watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Because it literally takes place 3 months after.
Yeah.
And
the after credits in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 takes place like a couple years after.
What's the post-credit scene in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
Teenage Groot.
Oh, correct. Which that brings it up to current time. Right. So
maybe 10 years have passed?
No, not 10 years. Because Avengers takes place in 2012.
Right.
And Guardians of the Galaxy takes place in 2014, which was their release year. And then Infinity War takes place in 2018. They're almost real time.
You know, the only thing missing from all of this, which is good and bad, what I would as an old school comic lover, and I can't believe now I'm the age of the old school comic lover. I really would have liked to have seen Thanos attaining the gems. Like, I would have liked to have seen Thanos' quest.
That's what Infinity War is going to be.
I know.
Rumor has it we're going to see like a young Thanos. In this movie, like at some point. So,
Purple Die Hard, but okay. Purple Bruce Willis.
Oh my gosh.
He's a little less like, you know what's funny? People complain about the CGI. I'm not complaining about the CGI. I think it looks great. I just think he looks like Purple Bruce Willis.
Anyway, now
Tony, you messed up your whole order. Why are you not watching The Shield in between all of them? All the Shield episodes.
Because I'm restricting it to just movies. If I had to watch every single in continuity thing, including the news reports before Ant-Man, all of the Marvel series, Agent Carter, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's literally 9 days, 7 hours, and 1 minute
of not moving
worth of on-screen time. So
if we were paid to do that, yeah, I would be all over it.
They have done 100 episodes in I almost, I'll be honest with you, Sean, I almost watched the connection episodes from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the one after Thor: The Dark World, where they clean up in London.
And I actually liked that one a lot.
Yeah, the one before and the one after The Winter Soldier, the one right before Age of Ultron, that kind of stuff. I almost decided to watch those, but I really decided just to keep it into the movies and the one-shots, because they're on those same discs.
The Age of Ultron was so phoned in.
Right now I'm up to
the crossover.
I just finished Winter Soldier, and then I'm going to
get showers in a can.
What?
Yeah, he said better get showers in a can. It's awful.
It's okay. I have baby wipes at home. That's what I use when I'm late and I don't take a shower. Not that anybody's. What? Thanks for that. Anyway,
well, I spiff up for you.
Anyway, now where it gets really crazy in chronology order is around Civil War, because after Civil War, what was the first movie released after Civil War? It was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
Right,
No.
which doesn't make
Which you've
sense.
already seen.
And
Then the
then
next movie
Spider-Man.
is Spider-Man, which isn't correct because the first movie you watch after Civil War is Black Panther,
Right.
Because it takes place 2 weeks after.
Yes.
And then you watch Spider-Man. And what's interesting is people are saying that in Spider-Man they throw the timeline off because there's actually a title card because it begins with
Him actually participating in Civil War.
participating in not Civil War, but not him, but the Vulture.
Yeah.
Tomb.
Oh, right, back
him after the Battle of New York from
Yeah.
Avengers, doing the scavenger,
Yes.
the stuff, and then a title card flashes up 8 years later,
Yeah.
and it brings it up to Civil War. Well, here's the weird thing, is that 8 years after the Battle of New York is 2020, and Infinity War takes place in 2018. So either they made a mistake, or there's something not accounted for somewhere in the storytelling. But and then after that you watch Thor Ragnarok, and then after Thor Ragnarok you watch Infinity War, and then once Ant-Man and the Wasp comes out, that goes back into after Civil War, but before.
Oh, we're sure about this?
Yes, because Ant-Man and the Wasp takes place after Civil War and before Infinity War.
Oh.
And then Captain Marvel takes place in the 90s, so you'd watch that after Captain America and before Iron Man.
Sean's favorite is Winter Soldier. That's high up there for my favorite. He
So
does not like Guardians of the Galaxy. I am shocked.
Wow. I'm keeping a running list, and after watching
Really,
up
Sean?
to...
Because you remind me of Yondu constantly. Constantly. That breaks my heart a little bit.
Mary Poppins, y'all.
Listen, if anyone's going to scream Mary Poppins, y'all, and freaking ride an energy arrow, I'm going to give that to you, Sean. You.
So anyway, keep an eye out for our top 10. We'll do that a week or two before Infinity War
I'm
opens.
gonna have a very hard time with this.
I'll tell you what, that's why I decided to rewatch them all. I'm literally keeping a list. As I watch a movie, I then place it in my list. Because
I know, but what happens? You go, wow, I like this more than I thought. Time to move.
No. I started with no list.
Okay.
And then as I watch the movies, I put them on the list, and then I say, okay, I like this one better than this one, or but less than this one, so that's where it goes. And then every movie I then evaluate as I'm going. So my list is building as I'm watching the movies. It's the only way I could do it.
I'm having such a hard time because of my love affair with Winter Soldier. And now Black Panther.
I'll tell you, so I've watched up through Winter Soldier, and Winter Soldier is the number one for me right now.
It's so good.
It's really, and rewatching it again and again, it's just been fantastic. So next up, let's get into what did we play.
I love it, Pat. And I'm sorry, Sean. I mean, I give up. I often give up on comic accuracy.
Sean, it's interesting that you have that opinion, because I read the 2012 Guardians run, I think, and I actually really liked. I'll agree with you with that, Sean, that Gamora was too snappy. I will agree that Gamora is not like she is in the comics, absolutely 100%.
And Drax is not like what he is.
And Drax is not like what he is, but I was okay with that. I don't know. I really.
You know what's funny? I originally had more of an issue with Drax because I really wanted Moondragon. Yeah. And I wanted that crazy dynamic.
All right. So what did we play? So we're gonna play Jim, which is a tiny gum-packed size game. It comes in this gum-packed box, and it literally consists of cards, just cards the size of the gum pack, and the instructions, which are folded up. It's actually quite a bit of instructions.
What's the age appropriateness of this?
So the age appropriateness of this, it's really cool. So they do this thing where they put the number of die between 1 and 3, so casual, intermediate, and challenging. So 1, 2, or 3. The age range on this is 10 plus.
Okay.
It's 2, 4, or 6 players because it's team play,
I like
it's 15 minutes playtime. So
I like all of that. I just wish it were for younger.
There's other ones that are for younger ones, like Fly. like fly out. Even if we don't play it, I'll mention this. This one is 8+, but you could have younger people play this one as well. And this is more of a dexterity type game. It's very cool. All right.
Oh my!
So in
We're
gym,
definitely trying that.
So in gym, so Adam, let's hit the table cam here. So in gym, we are going to compete in these events. There's weightlifting, there's basketball, table tennis, dodgeball, football, and tug of war. Now, the actual events really don't matter all that much, but so we're going to set these off to the side here in a random order. And they have these little lines on them, and those are going to come in. Those are going to actually come in the gameplay, so we're going to line them up.
See you this weekend, Sean. And we get to see Ken. And Tony will be with me too.
Yes, we'll see you then. Thank you very much, Sean. Have a good night. All right, so first you line up all of the events. Now there are 6 events, but during the actual play phase of the game, we're only going to use 4 of them. Okay. But we have to decide what events we're going to use. To do that, this is where this is going to bring up some bad memories for me at least. Okay, because in gym, you actually are going to pick kids to be on your team.
Oh God, it was very familiar to my 6th grade.
Exactly.
Very familiar.
This brought up some post traumatic stress for me because I was usually always picked last.
Yeah, me too. Finally, something we have in common.
Something we have in common, yeah. And it wasn't because I was necessarily bad at sports. It's because people just didn't like me, which is kind of obnoxious. But
and then in high school,
kids,
you hit it off. It was amazing.
It wasn't until like my sophomore year or junior year of high school that I really like.
Oh my God!
strides.
Like this, just you know exactly who that is, right? You know, everybody went to school with this guy. Everybody.
I got to meet the designers of these games too. They have a whole series of games. The company is called Perplexed, and their series of games are called Pack-O-Games. All right, so
notice how the girls are exceptionally good at dodgeball as we look at them. They have a higher dodgeball rating.
Now, if you notice, there are attributes to each kid that correspond to the colors of the events down here. So there's 2 phases in the game. The first phase is we're going to pick kids. And the second phase we're going to play kids to the events. Okay. Now, and how the goal of the game is you want to have the highest point value at the end. How you have the highest point value is that you're going to play kids to your side of the event. And at the end of the game, whatever kids are on your side of the event, and they have a matching attribute to the color, then those numbers get added. So, for instance, all the kids. For the weightlifting one, their purple numbers are added up, and that's your score for that event. All the orange ones that you have on your side, so on and so forth. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're picking your kids, because we're basically just going to pick until there's no more. All right. Now, the one thing we have to do is choose, not choose, but we have to decide what events we're actually going to do, because we're only going to use 4 of these. And how you do that is that whenever you pick one of these kids that has a black 0. They're a brat. And so when you pick a brat, you can advance one of these events 2 sections, or you can advance 2 events 1 section using the lines to line them up. See? Then, after we've picked all of them, the 4 events that have advanced the furthest are the ones we use. The ones we don't use get turned into coaches.
Okay.
And those will be used to protect our side of the board, or your side of the board as we go. All right. So, and I'll explain that part first. So let's go ahead and pick kids. I'll start first. So I'm going to pick. Man, the brats are terrible, by the way. I'm going to pick Cheryl. She's a brat, and I'm gonna do. Oh, also, when we get to the play phase and you play a kid at a specific event, you get to take the action of that event.
Ooh.
So this one is you get to swap 2 kids across sides. So my side will be on this side of the event, and yours, or we'll put them like this. However we do that, but basically you can swap kids. The football one allows you to force a kid. Opponents next. I'll have to check on that one. Move any kid on the same side, so you can move any kid on your side or on your opponent's side. Switch 2 kids on the same side. Again, your side or your opponent's side. Pick a kid and give one back. So you get to randomly pick one from an opponent's hand, and then you give them a kid back. Lift a kid. You can take a kid off the board, which it can be on your side or your opponent's side, and then you put one from your hand down.
Wow.
All right, so I'm going to pick Cheryl. She's a brat, and I'm going to advance. So I can advance 1 2 spaces or 2 1 space. So I'm going to do 2 1 space, and I'm going to go. I'm going to do this one, and I'm actually going to do this one. All right, so your turn.
This is something, isn't it?
Yeah, and you only advance these when you pick a brat.
I realize I'm trying to like do something here. All right. I'm going to take Dion.
Okay.
And I'm going to advance the rope climb too.
Okay. Yep, just like that. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to take Derek, and he is not a brat, so he does not advance anything.
Okay. And I'm going to take Patrick, who's also not a brat.
I'm going to take Jayla, who's not a brat.
I will take Henry.
Not a brat?
Not a brat.
Yeah. I will take Candace, who is a brat. And I'm going to advance. I will advance this one, 2.
The weightlifting.
I want to pump you up. These games, by the way, in the packs retail for $5.99.
And I could look at who I've acquired, right?
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Yep. That's basically your hand.
All right. I'm going to take Enrique, who is a brat. And I'm going to advance basketball 1, 2. Right? No.
Yep. You can do that, or you can do that one and another one.
Now we're advancing basketball.
Okay. I'm gonna take Felicia Rashad.
Always.
And not a brat, so it's your turn.
I'm going to pick Zari, who's not a brat.
Okay. I'm gonna take Alex.
I'm going to take Eduardo, who's not a brat.
Eduardo, who's not a brat. I'm gonna take Tico. No, Theo. Not a brat.
I'm going to take Lynn, not a brat.
I'm gonna take Bradley. Not a brat.
I'm going to take Brian, because I like the name.
I'm gonna take Corey. And I will advance this one. Oops.
Ping pong table 1.
Ping pong table 2.
Ooh, 2.
1. Is that 2? Jeez, they're getting kind of messed up here. Yeah. 1. That doesn't seem right. 1, 2, actually, yeah, that seems right. All right, your turn.
I'll take Steven, who's a brat, and advanced basketball 1,
Okay.
and advance the rope 1.
Okay. I will take Olivia. Actually, out of brat.
Yeah. Okay. I will take Trisha.
I will take. I'll take Sophia.
I'm gonna take. This is difficult. I'm taking Jen.
I'll take Luisa, which leaves the
Last pick is Craig.
the white kid in the varsity jacket as
Who's
the last.
a football specialist?
Football specialist is the last one. All right, so we have our events. They're going to be these 4, and then these 2 will turn into coaches. And I'll explain exactly how coaches work here in a moment. So what we'll do is we'll line these up. So we'll have your side and my side. All right, so we're going to take turns, starting with me, placing them. So there's 3. You can have up to 3 on an event at a time, right?
Okay.
Now, when you play a kid, you have the option of taking the action. All right. So
That's what she said, Rob. That's what she said.
it's nice, yeah. Yeah, these games, Rob and Tyler, these games actually come in a gum pack size box. They have a whole series of them. They have about 16. Here's just a few of them. They all have different mechanics, and everything you need is right in the box. They're pretty cool. They retail for $5. So you place your kid, you can take the action. So swap 2 kids, switch 2 kids, pick a kid, give a kid, and then lift any kid and replace it. So that's, you take it to your hand and then you put a new one down. Now, if you play a brat, you can take a coach and put it to the right of, or just connect it to one of the events, the event where you played the brat. That means that your kids are protected from any of the action effects. Okay, until that coach is moved.
Okay.
So.
And what can move a coach?
When you play a brat.
Oh.
Let me just double check that because I'm pretty sure that's the. At the beginning of the play phase, the 2 coaches are set aside. A coach is present immediately after. Also place or move the coaches are placed on the right. Oh, you do not have to play. You do not have to play a brat. It's you have the option of. Oh no! When a player places a brat, he may perform one event action as described above. Immediately after, he may also place or move either coach. Coaches are placed to the right of the 3 positions. Oh, so you don't have to place it to the event where the brat is played. You can move it to any
position you want.
Yeah.
Nice. My money's on Cliff
Right.
to
Yeah.
win.
He says, all right. So
Thanks,
so
Rob.
I'll go first. And I'm going to play. I'll play Cheryl to there, and
She's a brat.
she's a brat. She is a. Ooh, actually, she's a brat. Do I want to do that? Yeah, I'll do that. I'll put a coach. I'll coach on. I'll put a coach on this one. All right, I'll put a coach on the Tug of War.
Okay. All right.
I'm not sure why I did that, but ooh, it's actually not great. Thanks, Lisa. I'll try to do you proud.
Fascinating.
How much are you betting, Rob? I might take that bet.
Okay, so I'm gonna play Brian. Lift
Okay.
any kid and replace it.
Yep. You don't have to do that.
I know, but I wanna try and replace.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. All right. I'm going to.
I like how we have our own cheering sections.
yeah, really. All right, I'm gonna play Alex to this one, and I get to swap 2 kids, so I'm gonna swap these 2. Also, placement doesn't really matter on each particular side. But all right, so your turn.
I'm gonna play Dion, who's a brat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna swap 2 kids. And I'm going to place a coach. Oh.
And the coach does not take up a spot, but is just
There.
protecting that side. All right. That's a good.
$5, he said, Rob. $5.
I'll take that bet. How much is a box? $5. Yeah. But you mean for this? For this thing, it's $5.
Yeah. Is that going to be the bet? That's a good bet.
Sure. We'll do the bet. All right. So let's do. Oh man, you really did that, didn't you? All right. I'm gonna play. I'll play. Oh wow, yeah, this is terrible. Lift it, replace it. All right, I'm gonna play her there. I'm gonna lift. I'm actually gonna lift up this guy, and I'm gonna put. Oh wow, I have no bad cards. That's terrible. Oh, that's terrible. I don't know if I really should have done that, but whatever. All right, let's do this. Let's put her there, and then because I played a brat, I will move the coach over to my side. Actually, no, over here to this one. All right, good job. Rob is chanting Cliff. Clifford, Clifford, Clifford.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it. So I'm going to play Cheryl, who's a brat. Okay. Lift any kid and replace. So I'm taking Kaori away. And I'm going to drop.
Dun, dun, dun. This is actually getting kind of tense. I'm
dropping Lynn.
Rob, I'm a little concerned.
And I'm going to bring in Coach Wilson to protect because Cheryl
Yep.
is who she is.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play Dion.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna move. I'm gonna swap Sophia with this guy, and then I'm gonna move Coach Wilson to here. Oh, well, I like them apples. I like them apples. I'm seeing it now. There's one game called Spy where you play everything in your hand, so you could literally play it while you're waiting in line.
Come on, Tony. Now she's rooting for you. I love it.
Sort of like chess, you gotta plan 5 moves ahead.
A little bit, yeah.
I kind of bought myself a turn. I feel like I'm pretty well protected at the moment.
You'd think.
I think.
This is rough.
Still a lot of game left.
There is.
Not that we know how to play this game, because it's the first time we're both playing it.
Yeah. Wow. I'm gonna play Henry
Mm-hmm.
and swap 2 kids across sides.
But you can't because mine are locked by the coaches, so you actually can't do that. You can place them, but you can't do the action.
Okay. I'm gonna live with that for now. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna play Louisa, and I'm gonna swap 2 on the same side. So I'm gonna swap these 2. Your turn.
When I play the brat, I can immediately move the coach.
No, you do the action, then you do it. So if you don't do the action, then you just move the coach. But it's after you do the action that you get to move the coach.
Fascinating.
So you basically have to not waste a turn, but you have to take a turn to move the coach before you can affect any of the kids on that side.
All right. Gary. And I'm grabbing the coach. Wilson. Oh, really?
For the blue side?
Yeah, for the blue side.
Let's do. Play Candace, who's a brat. And I will. Let's see.
Do you want to do that randomness?
Not really. Do I?
Yeah, that one seems like
I won't do it. I won't
that
do
one
it.
seems like the
I won't do
riskiest
it,
one.
But I will move the coach back over to here. Yeah, I'll move the coach back over to here. Do I want to move the coach there? Actually, I do not want to move the coach there. I'll move the coach over to here. To the right. Yeah, so I'll protect my blue side.
Okay. going to play Enrique. Lift and replace. And move this coach. Because Enrique is a brat.
Protecting blue or orange?
I'm sorry, protecting blue. I should have put it there.
That's fine. My turn, huh? All right, I'm gonna play Felicia, and I will lift and replace.
We can only have 3 kids in a spot, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's the colors that match the event that matter. So like for this one, my score is 8 and your score is 1. And then it's the accumulation of each one to your total score, then you compare at the end.
All right. Kaori to switch 2 kids on the same side. And because she's a brat, I will take this coach to protect purple.
Okay. Oh wait, did you? Oh yeah, okay. All right. I'm gonna play this one, and I will pick a kid at random from your hand. So I take a kid at random from your hand, and then I give you one back. Take this one. That's terrible. It's a terrible one to have. Oh, that's terrible. You can have him back.
Nope, random.
No, yeah, but then I give you one back.
Give one back.
Pick a kid and then give one back.
Oh, damn.
So
I wish it was more random and fun.
can check just double check that.
Rob, you're like my best cheerleader right now.
Yeah, really. Randomly pick a kid from an opponent's hand and add it to your hand. Then give a kid back from your hand back to your opponent. You must add the kid to your hand. So it doesn't say I can't give you.
Okay.
I can't give it back.
All right. So that was
See, Tony is rocking it. That's right. I am rocking it.
That's good.
Ooh.
Okay. Trisha. Switch 2 kids on the same side. Switch Trisha with Enrique.
You can't because it's protected.
Even for my own effects?
Yeah.
Oh,
think so.
I am not playing Trisha.
Let me just. Coaches. A coach's presence reduces the chaos on that side of the event. While a coach is present, no event actions may be used to move kids to or away from that side of the event. The other side of the event may still be influenced by actions, unless there's another coach there. So yeah, you can't affect stuff.
All right. Then I am playing Patrick, and I am switching Alex and Craig. Craig really enjoys your side.
Yeah, he does. Well, I'm gonna play.
This is great. I wish we were.
Wait, you
boozier.
can't. Oh no, this is protecting that one. All right, so I'm gonna play Lynn and swap. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll swap Craig.
Man, Craig, you are such the unwanted child.
He really is.
Yeah.
He's like the worst for these events. It's great.
And he's the jock, essentially.
Yeah.
So fun. play Zari here.
Mm-hmm.
Pick a kid and give one back.
No, you pick from my hand.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the one where you randomly.
Oh,
do you want to do that?
Sure, let's give it a go.
And then you give one back to me. It's terrible. Why would I want her?
I don't know.
Why would I want her?
I guess that's my turn.
I'm gonna play Derek there, and I'm gonna randomly take one from you.
Randomly take one from me.
Yeah. I want my. Oh God! I got him back again. All right. Then I give you one back.
You're not gonna give him back or the girl.
We'll give back. This is just awful. This is just awful. You know what? I'll give you the girl back. At least he's a brat. I can move a coach around if I need to.
Okay. So I'm going to play Bradley, and I could switch 2 kids around
On the same side.
on the same side.
Except for your side blue and your side purple.
Yeah.
Assuming you're going to do it at my side.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fine. Whatever. Ooh. All right. I'm going to play Olivia. And I'm just going to switch them back. Whew. Your turn. You only. Oh. How do you have 2? Oh, you have 2 spots here.
Yeah.
Oh. I see. So you have to play out there. And then you can decide not to take the action if you don't want.
So pick a kid from your hand,
No. Then you give me one back.
and I give you one back.
I'm assuming you're just going to give me Steven back. Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Because she's useless too at the moment.
Well,
wait, no, she's not.
No, she's not. She's not useless, but
There you go. Keep him.
All right.
He's a good guy.
So I'm going to play him at the only spot I can, and then I am going to swap this one with.
No. He's protected.
Oh, he's protected.
He's protected by the coach.
Shiza. Oh. So I can only switch the blue and the yellow. Oh. Either way, I'm going to give you more points. I guess I'll do this. That makes the most sense. Unless switching somebody on my side? No, it doesn't make any sense. I'm pretty happy with my side. Okay. All right. So your turn. All right. So now we add up. So you've got 4 on this one.
Yep.
2 on this one. So that's 6.
Well, wait,
Just
yeah,
one
2.
orange, yeah.
Sorry.
So 6, 7. So that's 13.
Yep.
Plus 4 is
17.
17. All right. I have 8. and 7 is 15, and 5 is 20, and 5 is 25. So Rob, you owe me $5.
I'm sorry, Rob. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
So,
and Liza wants some of these games. Rob, you know what? Spend the $5 to give Liza one of these.
So that is Jim, again from the Paco Games series from Perplex. So cute, fun little game, right?
It absolutely was.
And there's some replayability with it because you can do different events each time, and so yeah. So
Liza's like, sounds good to me.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's gonna do it for our show this week.
Ginyu 2007.
So let's wrap it up here with
Who's
Thought
also
Bubbles.
following me on Twitter.
Oh, there you go.
So hello on Twitch.
So thank you very much for watching, guys. Do you have anything else to add? Anything coming up this week? Well, we talked about like Albany
Comic Con is okay. So my weekend is jam packed, right?
Oh, yeah.
So like Friday night, I'm going to see.
What, Simon?
I'm going to see Neil Gaiman.
Oh, Neil Gaiman. Oh, that's right.
Which he was supposed to appear with the author behind Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events.
Yeah.
But he had to cancel. So we're actually getting Cameron Mitchell, who is the director and star and First Broadway.
Hedwig
and the Angry Inch. I'm so excited. So I'm more excited. And director of Church Bus. So I'm more excited. Rabbit Hole. So I'm more excited because I freaking love Hedwig. I love Short Bus. And I think he's amazing. And like they're gonna like interview each other and take questions from the audience. And I am stoked for the whole thing. So that's just Friday. Then Saturday, Irish dinner with Nana and Brian. And early Saturday, we're going to see Love, Simon. And then Sunday is Albany Comic Con. And like, I hope we make it through the weekend.
We're bringing our camera with us, hopefully, to Albany Comic and Toy Show on Sunday.
Yes.
So maybe we'll get some interviews or just some really cool footage from there. We'll see.
We're going to harass Sean. It's going to be great. And hopefully the guests.
So we're looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that too. And we'll try to squeeze in a watch for Jessica Jones season 2.
Oh my God, I want you so bad. I don't have any time. It's driving me crazy.
I know. It's tough. I barely have time to rewatch the Marvel movies, and I'm trying to cram them all in before the schedule gets too hectic. So.
I knew I forgot to send you something. I did play a video game recently.
Oh, you did?
I played Grand Kingdom, and it's definitely not a game for everybody. It's a strategy-focused RPG.
Ooh.
Where you
is it turn-based?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's turn-based and it's 2D and it's very pretty. And like you're a generic character and there are a bunch of generic characters and there's a big old storyline and there's all these kingdoms that you can form alliances with and the war efforts in the game are all real time and part of the PlayStation Network.
Oh, that's interesting.
So when you send your little squads out to participate in the war, that's all happening like in its own real time.
Yep.
You can also dispatch them. So that's a dispatch. You can also dispatch them directly to a war and play it out yourself.
Ooh.
And there's special items you can use during that as opposed to when you're exploring an actual quest.
Sounds kind of fun, actually.
Well, for me it is, because this is the sort of thing that I like. I wish it was more RPG-like, but the fact that like I've got all these characters and I'm leveling them up and I'm just all the cool stuff. Yeah. I'm really having a good time. Like I got like 2 Lancers and 2 Knights, or it's like 2 Valkyries, a Lancer, and a Knight.
Yeah.
And like the Lancer has like amazing experience bonus, so I'm just like racking up the points with him, and I'm like, come on, let's kill and get more points, girls. And then the 2 girls, I named one of them Aurora and gave her the white hair and everything, and I'm just like, yeah. And then one of her moves is actually like Stormblade or something like that, and I'm like, God. Yes.
That's amazing.
Oh, and it gets more amazing. So you could do the interclass thing. Mm-hmm. So at a certain point, when you've mastered a skill, you can turn that skill into a Grand Gamore, and like that makes it a learnable item for other characters. So you can teach this crazy ability that like is like amazing to somebody else.
Yeah.
From a different class, as long as it's compatible. And it's just really, I'm having like such a weird, great time with it.
That's awesome. Very cool. All right. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching. Next week, what do we have planned for next week? Adam, what's on the schedule for next week? Do you have it on that? I didn't write it on that.
We're going to be talking about Albany Comic Con. That's for sure.
We're going to be talking about. Oh, right. We're going to be talking about Albany Comic Con, and we're going to be talking about the Gamma Trade Show, which is going on right now. And as a matter of fact, I forgot to mention this.
This store won an award.
Yes, we won the Outstanding Marketing Award, actually, which is
was it Power
Retailer Award. The Outstanding Marketing Award, which is very cool because I'm the director of marketing. So, and it was about our app that we developed. And huge kudos to Adam, who does a lot of the legwork, a lot of the daily graphic design stuff, and pretty much manages a big portion of that app.
And KGS News looks very good, by the way.
Thank you very much. We're very happy with that too. See you later, Ginyu. So the cool thing is that when you win one of the Outstanding Retailer Awards, you are invited to come the following year and do a seminar presentation on how you won the award. So Steve has already told me my ticket is punched for next year, so I'm going to Reno to the Gamma convention again next year, which is great because I went last year to do a seminar. I did a streaming seminar, so very cool that I'm going to get to go again already. Normally it takes longer in the rotation for the store employees because he takes different people each time. So I'm very excited to get to go again.
You're a winner, so
and last year it was in Vegas, and this year it was in Reno, and next year it'll be in Reno. So I'll get to go to a new place. So I'm really excited about that. So
I'm looking forward to San Diego. I don't know what kind of award I have to win for that, but
I
don't know how much wrestling might have to take place.
Yeah, exactly. So again, thank you guys for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show, and join us next week around 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday for next week's show. So as always, I'm your host, Tony Cox.
And I'm Clifford Parmenter. Tweet us, follow us.
Yes.
Like and subscribe things.
Instagram, Twitter.
I keep saying this, and I know it's kind of lame, but anyhow, or please go buy some good comics that I keep recommending. Feel free to say to shop owners, you heard from me. I shop at Alternaverse and PAL Comics, and Skylar's awesome there, and Kerwin's Game Store in Poughkeepsie, and other fine comic book retailers that you can find. And Kerwin's Game Store here in Catskill.
Yes.
Which you should totally visit because it's a lovely location.
It is.
And if you like board games, and you're all over the area, you can also go visit Champions as well in Red Oaks Mills. So have fun with all that. Go visit people. Go say I said hi.
Well, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.